Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you to everyone who subscribed and liked the previous videos. So before we get started on what's going to be a really great video that's going to teach you a lot about prompt engineering, please like this video and subscribe, because there's going to be so many more videos coming out to turn you from a newbie in prompt engineering right to an expert. And today's video is going to help do just that. Today's video is all about prompt chaining. Now, if you get good responses from ChatGPT and other platforms, let me tell you, prompt chaining is going to take you that massive step further. So let's get right into it. Let's start by going through what prompt chaining is. Prompt chaining is taking your AI prompts. So you've got your one AI prompt where you'll ask the AI to write you out an outline of a blog post. That is one prompt. Prompt chaining is taking that and then adding it to another prompt, which is maybe a prompt to write the first part of the blog post. Then turn that to another prompt by saying, right, okay, write me the second part of the blog post. By chaining all these prompts together, what you're able to do is get a much more rounded output from the AI, a much better output. This is the way you get unbelievable outputs that nobody would ever think was written by AI. If you want to beat the AI detectors, the only way you're going to do that is by prompt chaining, because one prompt is going to give you a normal AI response. A chain will give the information that's been put into it an output and get you something truly original. Now, the way to think about it this way is, if you were going to build a house, you wouldn't start by going, right, okay, let's start building the house. Because if you do that, where's the door going to go? Where's the windows going to go? Where's the foundations? They're not going to be built. You're going to just be building on top of nothing. You need to start by planning, outlining, taking a look at where things could go, what could be the possible problems with that, getting the planning permission to be able to do it. If you need help planning who's going to help you, who are you going to hire to do it. You can't build a house just by starting off with a prompt saying build a house. It's the same with AI. One of the best ways for me to sort of go through how I have prompt chained is by looking at blog posts. I have a lot of history in content writing and copywriting, and writing blog posts is one of the hardest things to do if you start off with absolutely nothing, because you're starting from a blank page, and AI is going to help you with that. And an AI doesn't struggle with a blank page. You tell it to do something, it will do it, but it has the same problems you have if you start from a blank page. If you start with no planning, your blog post is going to go off into directions that you didn't intend it to. It's not going to stay on the right subject, and that means it's not going to give you what you wanted for the blog post. If you want to sell a product and your blog post drifts off away from that product partway through it, how are you going to possibly sell that product? It's not possible. So you need to think about how you would do it. When you write a blog post, what do you do? Well, I'll go through my workflow. The first thing I do is keyword research. So I'll look for the keywords, find the best keyword for it. There's how I'm starting the blog post. Then I move on to finding a subject around that keyword. What sort of subject could I do? I'd give myself 5, 6 or 7. Then what do you do? The next step for me is to take the subject I've got and look for a headline. What's the headline? Now, you might do it a different way. You might end with a headline. I start with a headline because that tells me where I'm going to go. How do I come up with that headline? Well, I come up with that headline by thinking of the purpose of the blog, by thinking of the intended audience of the blog, and putting them two together, I come up with a way of fitting that subject in with them. And that's how I get my headline. Once I've got my first headline, then I need to look at the subjects I'm going to talk about within that article. Once I've got the subjects, I then get the subheadlines, and then finally I work out what each part of the blog is going to be about. So I've got my headline, subheadlines. So what's my introduction going to say? What's my conclusion going to say? And what are the subjects I'm going to talk to in between each part of that? Then I think, how do I end my blog? Am I going to just end it by the conclusion, or do I add maybe a call to action in there to go and buy a product or subscribe or anything like that throughout the blog post? If you think of it that way, how is the best way for an AI to write a blog post? Well, probably the same way. If you're on ChatGPT, that's the way it's naturally set up to work. It talks to you. So if you ask it, like I previously showed you on the first video on this channel where I went through creating a maths tutor, if you ask the AI to ask you questions, it's going to ask you questions, and then the output you get is going to be better, because the output is going to be based on those questions. That is in itself a prompt chain. There's a prompt chain which is directed by the AI. What you can look at with a prompt chain that is directed by you is taking all of those ideas you've got there, how you would come up with an article, and putting that into your AI's input and allowing the AI to work from those inputs and create something truly unbelievable. Now, depending on whether you are a real SEO whiz, you may already have some keyword tools. I use Keywords Anywhere. So the first part of my prompt chains is to get the keyword. So let's take a look with ChatGPT now, how you can turn my workflow there and make it AI driven. So let's start using this tool now, and let's start finding out how to prompt chain. We're going to do it with ChatGPT for the basic reason that it's the easiest one to get access to. You can't automate it, which is a bit of a problem, but on the whole, this will give you the steps you need to be able to start prompt chaining, and then you can take it into other tools. So the way to start is to go into ChatGPT and ask it for 5 subjects about ChatGPT prompt chaining. There we go. So what we've got here is 5 different subjects, and we're going to use the one which I like, from simple prompts to complex narratives, ChatGPT prompt chaining examples. So it's jumped a step for me there, because that isn't just a subject, that is a really good headline. I need an outline for it. So now what I need is an outline for the article number 3, because it knows what that is. And there we go. That is an amazing outline. So if you take a look at what we've got here, we have what it is, the purpose of it, great stuff, and then a bit of an outline which takes you from basic to intermediate to advanced. Now, this sort of article, I don't think ChatGPT is going to be able to write a really good article, because it's got to give examples and it won't have them. But for something it knows about, you can do a lot more with this. An massively advanced technique that I would certainly advise using with ChatGPT is to start off this process by asking it for information that it has. So when you first get your keyword, if you ask it for information about it, that kind of seeds the AI, that goes into that AI's memory. So when you start moving down to these levels, it already has information ready to go in there, and then you can ask it for a bit more information on each subject. So then what we do is ask, so please can you write a couple of sentences about each subheading. Now what that does is it goes a bit further. It gives a little bit more information about it in natural language. That is said that I use, and the reason I use this is, let's think a step further on it. The next steps further on it, we would probably want to automate this using a tool like Riku, which is a tool that I use, or maybe still keep it manual, but using a tool like Peter Hatherley's phrase templates. Those templates are going to allow you to take what this comes up with and rewrite it and make it even better. So by having these sentences here, you could then take it into that tool, add your own information in, so a little bit of information about the statistics you want to use, or a little bit of information you already know that you want to put in there to make it, maybe the examples, you want to put some examples in there, and then have the AI write the full sections for you. If you're going to do that, then you need to have something ready to be able to allow you to do it. The blog post tool that I built myself, what I did is I automated each one of these steps, and when it gets to here, what it does, it gives you the opportunity to go in and pop some information in about what you want to do with it. So let's now go and take the next step with it. So the next step that we want to have is to write the full blog post using the subheadings and information included, and make sure that it is suitable to inform users about everything they need to prompt chain effectively. Now what this will do is it will write the full blog post for you. Now for me, this is not a blog post I would use, simply because it is, I mean, actually that's a really good start for it, but this really isn't going to be something that will help people on prompt chaining, because the information that the AI has is very limited on it. Prompt engineering is a very new subject and a very new field of expertise. So unfortunately, ChatGPT won't have much information about it, certainly not when it comes to working with ChatGPT, because it doesn't know about ChatGPT. But what it will do is it will give you a really, really good outline for most articles. And then this here, if you're using ChatGPT, my personal opinion is that I'd like to rewrite it. I do think ChatGPT doesn't really usually write with an original style, although when we move on, we can certainly start to work on ways of being able to use ChatGPT for it. Now, if I was going to go a step further, I'm building a translation tool at the moment. I've got an article about that on my website. What you're able to do on here is ask ChatGPT, can you please translate an article into French? And what that will do is it will write the whole article in French. Now, I don't speak French. I don't know how good that French is. But what I do know is that this is a way you can build your prompt chains to be able to do unbelievable things. I started with a keyword. Now I have a full article and a full article in French. If I was to automate this service, then what would I be able to do? Maybe have it write an article, go all the way through, send it off, translate to French, German, Spanish, any language that I want to translate it into, and then I've got 6 articles in different languages I could put on my website to be able to speak to an entirely global audience. So when you're thinking about building stuff with ChatGPT, don't just settle for basic. The more you build and build and build on your prompts, the better it's going to be. I know of people who have created unbelievable output on ChatGPT simply by starting with a full prompt chain that they're going with, which is asking about something, going deeper on each subject, getting to outline all this information, then getting to turn that information it has and put that into a full blog post, and then use the other information to provide the other blog posts, and get maybe 5, 6, 7 blog posts on one topic, all from one prompt chain. Now, there's a little bit of a limitation to the memory on ChatGPT, but that is still possible because you can go back and pull the information back forward and then put that in to be able to write the next bit of information by taking it back to what it already knows that it's told you earlier in the prompt. So how do we effectively prompt chain? We start by having the idea that we want to work with. We start with the first input, and then we build on each input. Once you have got that down, like I have here with ChatGPT, you can go back in and you can do the same things again and again and again and again by having that saved somewhere. Or I've got that in my memory because I do it every single time, but if you save it somewhere, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. On the alternative, you can use a tool like Riku AI, which I've got a link down in the description for it to get a 5-day trial. You can build lots of unique prompts on there using all of the best AI models out there, such as AI21, obviously OpenAI. It's just got the ChatGPT integration in there as well with it, and Aleph Alpha, which I use for translation, and many other options, along with a load of different open source models, including unlimited use of GPT-J within the platform. You can build prompts in there, and you can also build a prompt chain of 5 different steps within the platform, entirely no code. It's an unbelievable tool, and I would recommend it to anyone who wants to make use of automating these AI prompt chains or AI prompts. So that's how we use prompt chaining. Start using this, it will supercharge the kind of outputs you get from your AI. So I would say use this straight away. It will make a massive difference to your workflow. If this has helped you, please like and subscribe to the channel. Please drop a comment down there as well if you have any questions or want to know anything more about this. So once again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. There'll be so many more videos like this coming in the future that will be here to help you get even better with ChatGPT.